How come I can't breathe? Musk data company draws a backlash in Memphis. There was a really good video that I wanted to watch with you guys from More Perfect Union about a Bitcoin farm in Austin.
I'm with the Browning family. I don't know if you can hear this, but this little noise meter tells me that there are unhealthy levels of noise. Something strange is happening in this small town 70 miles outside of Dallas, Texas. An invisible force is creeping through the community, ruining residents' lives.
They just moved in on top of us. I have a constant headache right in the back of my head or either over my eyes. I've been in the hospital 2 or 3 times.
Every family here is sick.
Cheap energy, lax rules and regulations, and politicians at the state and federal level who are all in on crypto.
Unleash crypto. Come to Texas. Texas is the oasis.
Texas Governor Greg Abbott appears to be pushing for our state to become more involved with cryptocurrency, saying, quote, Texas is already the home of crypto mining. In this session, Texas should become the crypto capital, end quote.
You're promoting it.
Well, I went to the window and I listened and I thought, man, this is going to be a rough night. And it was. So it'd be a long day for me.
You'll have to take a nap after a while.
I think the noise is a stylistic choice because that's what the city feels like to live in.
We don't have time for a nap, not today.
Quite a loud, constant noise all around us.
24/7.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how loud is it right now?
This is about an 8.
So it gets worse than this.
You know the like autism tests? The like what's the really popular one? The RADS test?
I want to be empathetic, but a part of me asks, who did they vote for?
We'll get there. RADS R test, yeah. Sorry, I'm going to get somewhere with this, don't worry. The one thing that when I've taken those tests that I always fucking rated highly on is like noise, where I'm so noise sensitive. I'm not going to claim that I'm autistic off of one test or not autistic or whatever. I'm just saying I can tell you for a fact I am so noise sensitive. It makes me so pissed. Dude, there's nothing more infuriating than like too many people talking at the same time or too much static happening at the same time or just like when something is just a little too loud, it's like really irritating. Like it's like, could be ADHD. I mean, yeah, there's like a lot of overlap with a lot of these things, but it's so infuriating. It's actually like, it's mold inducing. I think if I like, this is like my personal hell. Living in a city where you constantly hear the Bitcoin farm next door droning and just at 85 decibels every single day, every minute of every day. I would make it like a week before I fucking lost my shit. I think I would like, I think I would go crazy. I think I would go crazy and then I would like go on like a murdering rampage after a week. And all these people so far have been older folks with a bit less hearing too. We would fucking melt. Yeah. And like, I'm the loser that brings the earplugs to like the venues and the concerts and stuff. Cause like my ears hurt at these fucking events. Like they hurt so bad. If I don't have earplugs, I leave cause it's like painful. I can't imagine this all the time. To be clear, you should bring ear protection, but I know lots of people that go to concerts and they're like, well, I'm just not going to. And I'm like, honestly, low-key, even listening to this video is making me irritated. It's making me irate. And we've only watched it for 5 minutes. Fucking loser. LOL, shut the fuck up. Why not just sell your house and move? To who? Who's the opposite of Daredevil? Who's the opposite of Daredevil? Are there any like deaf superheroes? Echo? Cyclops doesn't make any sense. Echo, I don't know who Echo is, but yeah, Echo. A streamer went to a concert with his girlfriend, front row, no earplugs, and now he has constant ringing in his ears. I mean, I always wear hearing protection at jobs and have excellent hearing. I mean, yeah, like I'm sure there's some of you in here who've worked at like factories that, you know, get loud. And I'm sure many of you that do work those jobs, you probably wear hearing protection. Because, you know, 1, you don't want to go deaf at like 35, but 2, it's irritating. Like, you get mad, or at the very least, maybe I'm only speaking for myself. I get mad when something is too loud and it's causing me like ear pain. Also, even things that aren't necessarily loud can damage you from prolonged exposure. Well, yeah, because like I have like really bad motion sickness. And from my understanding, it has to do with something in your ear. And like if the thing in your ear is like different than other people, you just get motion sick. I forget the exact thing in your ear that causes the motion sickness. The snail in your ear. Yeah, the snail that lives in your ear. Denims, you're from New York. You know all about noise pollution. Yeah, but in New York, because the noise pollution is so bad, a lot of buildings are actually really well insulated. So like, and everything is made with like, or not everything, but so much of the buildings are made with concrete and bricks, which is really good for sound canceling. So even if you live in New York, I feel like the sound isn't that bad, if that makes sense. And there also isn't like a constant ringing. It's more like every other 5 minutes there's like a fire truck or like a cop car. I can't even imagine, because I don't think people were meant to live next to a fucking Bitcoin farm that there's a constant droning noise. New York noise pollution is a concert in the Kennedy Center compared to the Bitcoin death whistle factory. Also depends on where you live in New York too. Yeah, for sure. I literally can't get motion sickness. It doesn't affect me. I've been skydiving. You know what, man? Like, fuck you, dude. Like, literally, like, fuck you. All right? Do you know how much I hate you? Do you know? You suck, okay? I know it's out of your control and whatever. You get to live the life. But some of us fucking don't, okay? Some of us have to fucking suffer.
It's worse than this.
Remember the legal limit for noise is 85 decibels? And Cheryl showed us readings in her house into the hundreds.
This is inside of my house.
And like also, okay, I am going to shit on American infrastructure really quickly, especially Texas infrastructure. American homes are built with like wood and paper. It's mostly just paper mache, to be honest. Most of America is just like paper mache that is like technically up to code. So there's no soundproofing. It's kind of the reason why I do kind of prefer renting a little bit. Because you need soundproofing within, not necessarily all the time, not necessarily all the time. Some apartments suck. Some apartments really, really suck. But big units, like apartment complexes that have like hundreds of units, tend to have slightly better soundproofing because you're having residents live right next to each other, right? And I'm so grateful for the soundproofing in my apartment. I'm so grateful. When I open the window, it's like there's like a party outside or something. I hear so much noise. I close the window. I hear nothing. I'm like, yes, this is amazing. Texas homes, it's literally paper mache in a dream. You ain't soundproofing shit, dude. There's no soundproofing. There's no insulation.
She and her neighbors who have serious health conditions say they and their doctors believe it's tied to the Bitcoin operation.
2 of my horses are having a hard time keeping weight on. When the noise is really bad across the street, they're anxious and disturbed and fretful and worried. So it affects them as well. 1 horse died year before last. We're sitting in front of the crypto mine looking at all of their miners. If you notice, this is the newer wall that got put in by Marathon Digital.
Can I also just say there's something like particularly evil about putting this next to people's homes when like so much of the US is unpopulated? Like once you learn the phrase, the cruelty is the point, in reference to American politics, you can't like unsee it everywhere. The US is like 90% land. There's so much desolate land that we just like don't fucking use. There are so many places that they could put this first of all, I mean, I disagree that there should be Bitcoin mining farms, whatever. But there are so many other places you could put this fucking stupid piece of garbage and it wouldn't impact anyone. But instead they got to put it here. So it's convenient for like the owners to show up. They need the infrastructure. It's easier to connect up closer to people's homes. It's awful.
That's supposed to be sound suppressive, which it's not. You can see a big gap in it right here.
I mean, the closest we can get probably is like regulating it so that if you have a fucking Bitcoin fucking farm, you have to be at least like 50 miles away from the next residential property. When building it, you have to be at least 50 miles away or more. I don't know exactly I don't know how far sound travels, and like, I just picked a random number, admittedly, okay? Sorry.
There's power lines that run through, so it's not a continuous wall, and it certainly doesn't keep the noise in.
But let's back up for a second. What the hell is Bitcoin mining anyway? Regular currency like the US dollar relies on a centralized bank.
It's not even an actual mine, is it? No, it's just like I mean, think about how loud your computer gets. Okay, for people who have like old computer rigs or even people who have new ones, you know when your computer goes like, you're like, dude, all I launched was Darkest Dungeon. What is happening? Chill. Literally calm down. You're fine. There's no dust. I cleaned you yesterday. Like, come on. Imagine that, but like a million computers doing that at the same time. That's where the noise is coming from. It's getting loud because it's trying to chill, Denim. No, you're right. Can you chill, but like quieter, please? Mining is just like metaphoric here.
Which controls its supply. But Bitcoin is not a centralized currency. It depends on independent actors known as miners, which are simply computers that carry out complicated math problems to verify Bitcoin transactions.
You know, Greg Abbott saw that. You're like, you want to have a lot of miners here. I'm for it. Okay, I'm for it. Then he found out and he's like, oh, come on, dude, whatever. Put it next to those people's houses.
And list them on a public ledger known as a blockchain. A team from Cambridge University estimates Bitcoin uses about 187.9 terawatt hours of electricity per year. That's more than the entire country of Egypt.
Texas is one of the least regulated states in terms of environmental protections or energy protections for communities.
That's Mandy DeRoche, an attorney with Earth Justice, a legal non-
Imagine your health and life are altered because a math is loudly doing math problems. Yes. I want to see if I can find, I can explain it loosely, I think, but this is one of those things that you know how hard it is, chat, being a realist, idealist, where I see this stuff and I'm like, wow, that's so cool on a theoretical level. And then you see the practice of it and it's like, wait, guys, just because it's cool doesn't mean you should do it. Like cigarette smoking. Just because it's cool doesn't mean you should do it, right? And it's the same thing with Bitcoin mining. The concept is really cool. And then that doesn't mean we should do that. But yeah, TLDR, the computers are doing a very simple explanation, but a math problem. And they need a lot of a lot of GPUs to do the math problem to get the next Bitcoin.
Nonprofit that's representing the residents of Granbury and other communities around the country in litigation against Bitcoin mining operations. Bitcoin mining has other harms too, driving up energy costs for consumers, impacting communities' water supply, and pouring so much crypto money into politics that residents feel like no one is looking out for their interests. To explore all this, we traveled across the state to meet with people who are experiencing the impacts firsthand. First, there's the energy costs. Texas is projected to experience a surge in energy demand, potentially doubling by 2030, driven largely by crypto mining and data center technologies.
That's price gouging. In another context, that would be illegal. And instead you have a company that's bragging about the money that it made while people were dying in their homes.
They pay significantly less for their electricity than everyday Texans.
The places we visited across Texas have a few things in.
But doesn't Texas have a fuck-ass power grid? Well, yeah, for the people that live there, that don't get to control whether or not Con Ed, well, I don't know if Con Ed operates in Texas, will shut off their power, or whether or not the lines of power will withstand freezing temperatures. Their power grid is independent from the surrounding grid. Yeah, I mean, it's ERCOT in Texas. Got it.
Common. They're rural, and they've experienced a loss of industries, like the town of Rockdale, which once employed thousands of people at an aluminum smelting plant, which permanently closed in 2017.
As a Texan, I can confirm I get emails almost daily that is it's a high energy use day and ask to conserve. Hey, could you please unplug your TV from the outlet? The Bitcoin farmers need all of your power, okay? It's just a lot of energy and you guys are wasting all of it and we could be farming some useless garbage instead. Stop being so fucking greedy. Turn off your computer and stare at the fucking wall.
A year later, the town welcomed Bitcoin investors with open arms, with large-scale Bitcoin operations in place by 2020.
I didn't think anything could surpass League of Legends in evilness, and yet...
Site.
Teresa is concerned about Bitcoin's demand for water. Corsicana's mine is projected to use up to 1.5 million gallons of water per day. That's an eighth of the city's water supply. She took us to nearby Navarro Lake, which she says dries up every 4 to 5 years.
So this is the lake that you are concerned that the Bitcoin mining companies could be drawing water from?
Yes, you've got a lot of people that have moved into this area. Last thing we needed was more pressure on this lake. I know I can survive without electricity. I do know that. I can't survive without water. Our politicians keep going with the corporations, even knowing that they're not being honest. They don't care about us. They want that money.
These ginormous conglomerate corporations are having real impacts. They consume vast quantities of water, especially in Texas.
Not far from Teresa, we met Dawn Horn, a disabled Navy veteran who lives less than 10 minutes drive from the riot mine in Corsicana.
The water, it does not smell good.
10 minutes drive?
It smells like chlorine now. I've replaced a washing machine and a water heater in the past year. It's not good for me because I have to pay higher electric bills and higher water bills, and I'm on a fixed income as a disabled veteran. It's not good for anyone who lives on a fixed income because it's increasing the price for, all of our power and all of our water and everything.
We reached out to the companies asking for an interview and tour of their facilities, but they declined.
Our clients in Granbury, they've got a tremendous amount of noise pollution that is harming their health, that is impacting their livelihoods. They can't sleep. There's increased fossil fuel generation in their community. There's air pollution, there's water pollution. So it's really the impacted communities that bear the brunt of this industry with really none of the benefits.
Name of the video, I live 500 feet from a Bitcoin mine. My life is hell. It's from More Perfect Union. More Perfect Union, just like, they make amazing videos, just like really good content. In fact, calling it content is like, I'm using that term correctly, but it feels even impolite to call it that.
These high costs that consumers are paying made us wonder, who's benefiting from Bitcoin mining operations other than the companies themselves?
I think it's important to remember that a Bitcoin mine is generating a virtual product. Nobody's seeing any actual tangible product. There's nothing coming out of that facility.
I mean, listen, I was trying to find something that explains the water usage aptly. And as I was looking for a document on this or like an article on this, I found the perfect explanation of Bitcoin farming. And it's the perfect explanation because it shows just how fucking stupid this entire process is. This person saying nothing's coming out of that facility, absolutely true. I mean, just like read with me these sentences and tell me how fucking stupid this sounds. Bitcoin mining is an energy-intensive process that contributes to the creation of new blocks of transactions in Bitcoin's underlying blockchain. I understand all these words, I understand this sentence, and I also understand how totally fucking useless this is for the amount of energy that it requires. The blockchain is like, again, it's one of those things like smoking where it's cool, and when you read about it, it's how the tech works is kind of interesting, but it's like not feasible to use in this way for Bitcoin farming because of all of the repercussions with regard to power. This is the sentence that I want you to read with me. Okay, guys? Mining resembles a numeric guessing game in which the first miner who guesses a certain winning number gets to create the next block for the blockchain. The only way to obtain this winning number is through a process of trial and error, with the whole Bitcoin network generating approximately 350 quintillion guesses every second. Even so, it takes 10 minutes on average to create a new block. This paragraph is so stupid, it should be illegal. Sorry. I know that like you live here and we're ruining your water and we're ruining your life and we're giving you health conditions, but you don't understand. We need to guess the right number for the next block on the blockchain.
Adrian Shelley is the director of public safety.
Take me out. End the simulation. End it, please. Return to monkey. Return. We went in the wrong direction. We took a wrong turn. It was like we had a fork in the road and there was like beautiful cities with renewable energy and green power, and everyone lives an amazing life and lives to 6 billion years old. And then we had on the left sign, you have the numeric guessing game, which the first miner guesses a certain winning number, gets to create the next block for the blockchain. And in exchange, you die sooner and you live worse. Oh my God, dude. People got to stop saying it's cool tech, it's baby brain toy for idiots with no creativity. I mean, no, the blockchain is interesting. It is. It's just, you can look at things that are interesting and say like, well, this is useless. Things can be interesting and useless. Or even let's take it a step further. It can be interesting and also bad. Like, great example, luxury brands, when they release actually kind of cool bags or clothes or whatever, it's like, damn, that actually is a really interesting purse. Or like, yeah, that actually is a really interesting watch. But it's also shit because there's a billion people getting exploited, and what? These other people have to exploit the people so they can afford this shit? This is so stupid. What? Okay, sorry, I'm trying not to go feral on a chatter, but I really want to. Okay, I'm not gonna go feral. I'm gonna be polite, all right? Chatter. Booty commune. Great name. Can you talk in a way that's like less condescending in every sentence, in every word? Could I ask you to do that? Do you think that that's something that you can do? You might have been too young to have interacted with enough sci-fi. All I'm asking is just like just a little bit less condescension. Just a tiny bit. It's just a little bit, okay? All right. Yes, flying cars are cool. Yes, Star Trek, the entirety of Star Trek is cool. Yes, lots of things are cool. And also lots of other things can be cool too, okay? I have childlike wonder. I am capable of seeing the interest and the joy in lots of things, even stupid nerd things, okay? Like the blockchain. Is it as cool as like flying cars are? Obviously not. Of course not. But it's interesting the way that like AI being used for like, protein folding to help cure cancer is interesting, right? Something can be interesting in the way that it works, regardless of the value it provides. Some things can be very valuable, like with the protein folding, and some things can be pretty valueless, like the blockchain, but the thing itself can still be interesting, right? Like video games. There's a lot of video games that are really interesting that are also pretty worthless, that also were just like a huge waste of time, right? So yeah, that's all I was going to say. All right, moving on. Guys, my favorite subject was math. Okay, of course I'm going to think math things are interesting, but this is one of those things where it's like, yeah, the math might be interesting, but there is no universe where the math is more interesting than people living well, right? There's no universe where I make that trade-off. Moving on. It isn't good math, it's stupid math. No, it's evil math. You never get involved with evil math. Anyways, my understanding with the water, because I know that this is something that also people don't, maybe not everybody knows about, because I learned about it semi-recently, but the Bitcoin farms require a lot of water, and it's primarily used as like for cooling. Because again, just imagine your computer, but like 100,000 of your computer all doing one stupid task that's really intensive. And for people who have like water-cooled systems, imagine your computer water-cooled, but it's using so much power that the water is evaporating. That's what it means when we make the water unavailable. When like they use the water and then it's gone. It's like, well, where does it go? It just evaporates because water cooling. So yeah, this is a pretty good article on this topic in general and explaining like the very basics of it. But yeah, talks about how this happens. Water usage depends on the cooling system, types and local climate condition. It's important to differentiate between water withdrawal and water consumption. Water withdrawal pertains to the water taken from surface water or groundwater sources, while water consumption refers to the portion of water that becomes unavailable for reuse after withdrawal, primarily due to evaporation and cooling systems. The water is gone, people. It's gone. That's it. It evaporates. That's where it goes. Because I've seen, at least on a handful of occasions, people being like, I don't get it. You use the water and then it's gone? How is it gone? Evaporation. What if they recapture the water or use the steam to power a turbine, which generates more energy? Yeah, but then they would actually be trying to like improve people's lives.
Citizens Texas office, a consumer advocacy public interest organization.
Advocates of Bitcoin mining will say it's good for communities, it's good for jobs, it stabilizes the electricity grid, it can promote a greener energy economy. It seems like two different narratives. Where's the truth?
Yeah, it's fantasy. They're overselling their product. I think some of them have bought into the hype. Some of them are intentionally misrepresenting what's going on.
All of this.
Also, just to be clear, chat, I hate Bitcoin. I hate everything about Bitcoin. I hate the people that invest in Bitcoin. I hate the people who like Bitcoin. I hate actual Bitcoin. I hate it, just to be very clear.
Makes it
The only time when Bitcoin was good was when people used it to buy drugs, and that was it. That was the only time that it was ever good. And after that, it has never been good, and it never will be good ever again.
Even more damning that the politicians representing the residents we spoke to are all in on Bitcoin. Which brings us to the crypto money in politics. Texas Senator Ted Cruz received a $350,000 donation from Bitcoin Freedom PAC in 2024 in a tight re-election race against Democratic challenger Colin Allred. The same year, Cruz announced he was getting into the Bitcoin business himself, announcing on X he bought his own miners and started running them in Iran, Texas. Cruz was commended by Marathon Digital's CEO and welcomed to the club. The Texas governor recently signed a bill.
So I just signed a law creating a master plan,
creating a strategic Bitcoin reserve that could use millions of taxpayer dollars to purchase cryptocurrency. President Trump once called Bitcoin a scam.
Bitcoin, it just seems like a scam. I don't like it because it's another currency competing against the dollar.
But then big donations came into his campaign coffers, and he changed his tune.
If crypto is going to define the future, I want to be mined, minted, and made.
I hate this timeline. I fucking hate this timeline, guys. I really, really do. Fuck you, Hot Wheels. Hot Wheels is too nice of a nickname. It's too fucking nice of a nickname, dude. How do I get off this ride? Let me off. It's like, I think for me, the hatred that I have for Bitcoin is more pure because it reminds me of all of it invokes every finance bro in my brain. And so I experience this very pure hatred. Whereas with AI, and like, I know you guys have, tried to beat my ass in the quote retweets on this one. At least AI, there are potential uses, like protein folding, like being able to generate vaccines sooner, right? Like for medical advancements, like using AI for studios like Sony, when they made Spider-Verse, that it's an in-house trained model. It only uses materials provided by the people in the company and only uses material that they have the rights to help speed up the production of amazing movies without cutting out the creativity, right? And I've shown this video a billion times, but I don't care. I'll show it another 1 gajillion times. But like,
about the expression. Form lines, they described a thing like a nose. The effects team did this amazing thing where we had the character designer make a library of drawings. That was something we could make rules for. This is the way that nose would look from this head angle to camera. And we made a whole bunch of poses that defined that. And the effects team would recreate those in 3D space with those rules of head angle to camera, and then let the machine learning program try and guess where those drawings would go. And a person would correct it every time it was wrong, making it therefore another rule. And little by little, we're teaching the computer to make drawings that we find redundant. About the expression.
So like, they are only using the AI with their content, with their rules, with things that they have the rights for, and it's to reduce unnecessary labor from artists, right? So for people who haven't watched Spider-Verse, it's a really cool movie that combines like 3D animation elements with 2D animation elements. And maybe if you've played the Walking Dead series, the Walking Dead game series, where like to make the characters feel more comic-y, they basically draw on these lines on the characters, right? So the model is 3D, but they draw on these lines to make them more expressive and to make it feel more comic book-y. The Telltale series, the Telltale Walking Dead series. And so otherwise, if not for this AI, there would be an artist sitting there drawing every single line, putting every single line in, editing every single line, and then for every single frame, right? What did they do instead? Oh, here, we're going to have, this model that we're going to train. We're going to have someone go in, give it like a base set, and then we're going to go in and adjust it every time it's wrong. Great, wonderful, dope. They explicitly said machine learning, by the way, meaning those algorithms have to be trained on something. It doesn't mean all training data came from internal sources. I mean, no, they said that it was a machine learning software. I don't think that they said anything about it being the algorithms being trained on something else. Like, this is a small usage. They're not like throwing the fucking program on for 24/7 to run it all the time. They're training it. And guess what? This is just removing redundancies that otherwise would make the movie take longer. This is just telling an artist, hey, instead of making you have to sit there and open every single bottle for every single paint that you want to use, how about I give you something that you can put a bunch of paints on and you can use that instead? It's just giving them a tool. In gamer terms, it's aim assist for artists. I mean, yeah. I work in the industry. I respectfully have to disagree. As an artist, I prefer to do it myself. I've seen many of my colleagues lose their jobs to this tech. Okay, I've spoken to lots of artists that have lost their jobs to AI. I haven't spoken to artists that have lost their jobs to AI models trained on artists' work to make redundancies go away. I've spoken to a lot of artists who have obviously are very against AI because it's literally the company is just not even hiring artists anymore. They're just not hiring artists anymore at all. They're not hiring any creative people anymore. It's just using exclusively AI, not paying any artists. Biggest difference is whether or not is to use AI for creativity or for mundane work. Yeah, correct. Yes, people in these fields don't like these tools. I would compare it. Okay, so I have a couple opinions here. One, I would compare it a lot to like factory work, where the people who didn't work in factories, or the people who didn't have a lot of work in factories automated, disagreed with factory work, or like factory innovations because it took away their jobs. The actual tool itself isn't what's causing these people's lives to become worse. It's capitalistic greed that's making these people's lives worse. If the artists were actually not constantly put under crunch and they were actually rewarded for their labor, we wouldn't have to worry about, well, we need an artist to sit there and draw these lines on every angle, every 3 seconds, or every second. It's like the loom didn't ruin your life, the capitalist did. The factory farming didn't ruin your life, the capitalist did. And it's the same thing here. Dude, you are so annoying. Chatter? I'm sorry. Don't type in all caps in my chat over and over again. So anywho, it would probably depend on if the artists were okay with the loss of wage/hours worked. They probably haven't commented though. South Korean studio just laid off all their concept artists for AI. So like this is, I've spoken to people who do concept work and who do storyboarding who have been laid off, and like their job is basically obsolete and it's impossible for them to find work anymore because these studios don't even hire artists anymore for the creative work. Like I am always going to be pro the creative work being done by human beings. I don't think computers should be doing creative labor. Computers and machines should be doing mundane labor that people don't want to do, that doesn't provide any particular fulfillment. In a just world, animation studios would be hiring lots of artists to do lots of creative labor, lots of fulfilling creative labor, instead of hiring people to sit there and draw these lines over and over and over and over again, right? I'm an AI artist who gets very creative with my prompt. I don't know about AI artists. I don't know. I feel like AI art is not great for society. I'm sorry. I'm joking. Okay, I was like, Chatter, no. I was like, I recognize your name. No, don't tell me you're an AI artist. That one screenshot, like the guy crying and holding a gun. I was like, no, say that, please. I don't want to have to take you out. Oh God, dude. Okay, and also as someone who's like, I got a tablet. I got a Wacom tablet when I was in high school, like over a decade ago. I was so happy to have my tablet. And I paid so much for this tiny little Wacom tablet. It was actually really sad. And then when it broke, I was so sad. I was so sad. And dude, the carpal tunnel is crazy. I would have loved certain tools. Like I feel like it's equivalent to certain brushes. Instead of having to sit there, manufacturing the brush already exists, and I get to do the more creative stuff, and then the movies get to come out sooner, and you can hire more people for other things, right? Like, anywho, yeah, TLDR on this whole like tangent on AI. I feel like Bitcoin is totally valueless in today's society. Like I have yet to see a purpose for Bitcoin, because Bitcoin inherently right now as it stands is a speculative currency, which makes it totally useless as a currency. You can't have a speculative market work as a currency. That would be the equivalent of like using paintings as payment. It's like, well, I'll trade you one Van Gogh for these oranges. It's like, this is insane. That's crazy. Like, that's totally useless. That is not a good currency. It's too volatile to ever actually be used as a fucking currency. So it's literally just the most garbage aspects of like finance and capitalism made real. Whereas at least with AI, it's like, I don't know if we can ever legislate it correctly. I can't tell if it'll be, I don't think it's possible to legislate it in current America. I don't think you can legislate anything in current America, to be quite honest with you guys. But I can close my eyes and at least I don't have the same pure hatred that I have for Bitcoin for AI, because I've seen how AI can be used for people's benefits. Like having something constantly running to find new protein folding for vaccines or whatever, that's good. That actually can help people. Or in-house models or whatever, that the machine learning is based off of people's individual adjustments to the program, and it cuts down on a lot of like inane work that people, it's not like very fulfilling work. Yeah, okay, I can at least see a world where it's useful, right? The reality is like most AI currently is just being used to create fucking slop. It's literally just like, here's a really big-breasted woman. We need to protect our race. And it's just like the most Nazi image you've ever seen in your fucking life. We need to make LeBron James pregnant. It's like, why? Why, dude? No. So it makes me sad. It makes me more sad than it makes me mad, right? Whereas Bitcoin just makes me mad. Bitcoin just makes me fucking pissed. Most of that world where it's useful is from AI companies trying to get you to parrot them. I mean, no, because I still believe in regulation against AI companies, severe regulation, right? And if regulation isn't possible, I believe in banning AI. So the talking points don't work when my end conclusion is still the same, right? The talking points only work if you're like, well, I guess we can excuse all of the wasted power and people's lives lost. Like, the propaganda only works if you fall for like the solution, right?
In the USA, it's not going to be made anywhere else.
National blockchain lobbyists and his family got in on it too.
The answer is crypto. And I think that's going to be the future of finance. If we can accelerate that process by going all in on it, I'm for it.
According to Public Citizen, crypto corporations provided nearly half of the $248 million in corporate money to influence federal elections in 2024. And the industry has gotten exactly what they paid for. Efforts to regulate crypto at the state and federal level have been largely unsuccessful.
2 years ago in the 2023 legislation.
Also, sorry, one last thing. I also believe in democratic workplaces, by the way, where the workers get to choose if they even want to have AI be used on their work. Okay, so like, that's the most important part. If the majority of the workplace and the workers that actually work there agree, then they should be able to use it. If they feel like it'll help them build it and no one gets fired, then why the fuck shouldn't they use it? It just opens up more time for the artists to actually sit there and think about like whether or not they want to make changes to the models, whether or not they want to make changes to how something is animated, whether or not they want to change how the lighting is in this section or this section. Okay, anyways, that was the last bit.
Legislature, we had a piece of legislation that specifically regulated cryptocurrency mining. It limited their participation in the demand response program. It prevented them from getting local tax breaks, and it required them to register with ERCOT. It didn't even get refiled this session. For a bill that passed the Senate to not even be refiled this session, that says to me that lawmakers' minds have been changed by something about whether this is an industry that needs to be gotten control of or not.
We reached out to the senator who sponsored the bill, Lois Kolkhorst, but she declined to be interviewed. Cheryl Shadden has lived in Granbury, Texas for almost 30 years and has been taking daily readings of the noise levels. She works as a nurse anesthetist and says she hasn't gotten a good night's sleep since 2022, and her backyard looks directly onto the giant facility.
What do you say to some people watching this who would say, I couldn't live there? Why don't these people just move?
My house is paid for. My house and property are paid for. Who would buy this place? You have to disclose. My property value has gone down 75%, and that's according to Hood County Appraisal District.
75%. This is also like, okay, I know this is my most doomer take. Please don't be mad at me, Chad. My most doomer take is that buying a house in today's America is like a terrible decision, because you have no idea if like they're just going to build a fucking exploding train rail next to you, or the Bitcoin farm next to you, or if it's going to flood because of global warming or whatever. And then you're just like fucked with this property that's totally valueless.
The reality is my property value is worthless.
Hood County Commissioner for Precinct 2, Nanette Samuelson, has been working with Cheryl and other residents to incorporate their community into its own municipality so they can create a noise ordinance, since they're currently in an unincorporated part of Granbury.
So they can zone things different, residential or commercial. They can put in noise restrictions. There's just a lot of different options available for municipalities than there is for unincorporated county.
And so what has it been like for you as a lawmaker trying to help your people but not being able to?
It's very frustrating because I see the impact on their lives. Sorry. And there's just nothing I can do.
It's the Wild West out there. Our systems take a while to catch up to these problems, and so it doesn't have the equivalent regulations that protect health and protect communities, like the oil and gas industry or power plants or other sectors that have been around for decades or hundreds of years.
Hood County is a rural, mostly Republican place with a population of 65,000 people. President Trump got more than 80% of the vote here in 2024.
And what about President Trump? His family is in the crypto business, profiting off of this. What do you make of that?
I have nothing against President Trump because I think his intentions are good, but I don't like the crypto thing. The way he's going about it is not pleasant for all of us.
Did you vote for President Trump?
Yeah, we did, but
How do you feel about that?
they are literally killing people out here. No, I don't like it at all.
I wish I could have a good talk to him. I wish he'd come over and pay me a visit.
Do you regret your vote for President Trump?
Concerning Bitcoin, yes. I don't have a problem with the industry, but I have a problem with what it's doing to people here. I think that's being ignored.
Did you vote for Governor Abbott?
Yes, I did, but I won't do it again. State politicians, all they see is dollar signs. They don't see people. You're just going to get to a point where I guess somebody has to die to get somebody's attention.
Not everyone here blames politicians, though. Larry Potts and his wife voted for President Trump, and despite being in extremely poor health, Larry had a heart attack and a stroke, they say they aren't against Bitcoin entirely, and don't blame President Trump for Granbury's problems. But they do blame the companies.
This chart shows that they're all, even at the highest level of government, from the president on down, they're all connected to these corporations and money tied to Bitcoin.
I have no problem whatsoever with these guys investing in Bitcoin. None. No more than I have any problem with you investing in your investments. But here's what I have a problem with, is with them being concerned about whoever these people are, make sure they're abiding by the rights of the people they're around.
After traveling across the state, it's clear that there's a tension between the politicians.
Dude, like whenever I see people who vote for Trump and they're like, I just didn't know he was gonna fuck me like this. Like, it feels the same as like seeing anti-vaxxers a couple years ago that were like dying of COVID on respirators, and they're like,
big corporation.
I just didn't know they're not getting vaccinated when I might die. And I want to hate them and I want to have empathy for them. And
who are benefiting from Bitcoin mining, and the people who have to live next door to these facilities who are feeling the impact. The takeaway, though, is that the residents here aren't stopping their fight until they get peace and quiet and justice for their community. Before you go, please support our work by liking this video and subscribing to our channel. We're always looking to tell more stories like this one, unpacking economic systems that impact all of our daily lives. Are there other issues that you want to see us cover? Sound off in the comments. And again, don't forget to like
and subscribe, chat. Like and subscribe. Like and subscribe. Great video. Really good work from More Perfect Union as usual. It's just, I want to have empathy for these people so bad because these people were tricked and no one is immune to propaganda, and these people were fucking fooled. And on the other hand, they're fucking everybody else. And sometimes I want to go full hawk girl, and sometimes I have to reel myself in to be Superman. And empathy is what separates the left from the right, Denims. Unfortunately, what tricked them was that Trump played on their hatred of minority groups, so empathy is waning. Well, I mean, not all of these people, right? Don't get me wrong. A large swath of like Republicans are just straight up like fascistic bigots. Absolutely, 100%. And those people, I have no empathy for those people. I don't give a shit about those people. Burn in hell, I don't care. But there are another group of people, and whenever I say this, people always like, there's so many people that are like, that doesn't exist. And it's like, it does. It absolutely exists. Trump voters that are just fucking morons, that aren't even bigoted. They're just fucking idiots. It's like, oh my God, how are you falling for this? And they're like, what? No, I don't care if someone's black. I don't care. I don't care if someone's gay, trans. Doesn't matter. But Trump's going to fix the economy for all of us. It's like, is he now? He's going to fix really, is he now? I hate you. I want to hate you so bad. Oh, and to be clear, obviously, it depends city to city. I think some states are like, there is going to be a way higher percentage of like bigots that voted for Trump, and other ones like the New York. And I think this is like also a symptom of me having grown up in New York and then moving to LA. All of the Trumpers that I've run into are I mean, they've grown up in liberal cities, okay? And it is true that if you grow up around minorities, and like you ever interact with minorities, you have less stupid opinions about minorities. Like people who've never spoken to a trans person before, they're fucking idiots. They're trying to trans the kids. And then you talk to a trans person and they're like, huh? What the fuck are you talking about? So let me get this straight. You think I would like have 17 surgeries? I'm just exaggerating for hyperbole. I would alienate myself from my family and my friends. I'd lose my job. What? For attention? What are you, stupid? And then they wake up and they're like, oh, I guess that is pretty stupid, huh? Who the fuck would do that? That is actually really dumb. So a lot of the Trumpers that I've run into are born and raised in liberal cities. So they're just like financially illiterate. And they're like, well, I'm going to vote for Trump because it's the right thing for the economy. It's like, how? How? Oh my God. Be hot girl to systems, be Superman with individuals. Yes. Yeah. I mean, I obviously think that like all conservatives are racist the same way that all liberals are racists, right? Like if you never approach your biases and you believe in the status quo and you believe that the system can fix these things, you have inherent biases that if you refuse to address them, they will stay there forever. Obviously. I think that goes without saying. I'm talking about people who unironically believe in like race realism. But anywho.